Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to get to the artifact of the strong on foot with no dinos in Ark Survival Ascended. The entrance of the cave can be found at latitude 26, longitude 29. The gear I recommend for this cave are 1 to 2 sets of fur armor accompanied with 1 to 2 sets of flak armor, 100 to 200 medical brews, 60 to 100 grappling hooks, 20 to 40 grenades, 2 crossbows, 2 high damage shotguns, and 700 to 1000 shotgun shells. This gear eliminates the need for you to raise dinos, tame dinos, and spend all that time really prepping for this cave. Once prepped, you want to enter the cave sticking to the left hand side. When you get to these large crystals, here you want to slow down. Now you want to use the photo mode tool to check around that corner. Don't go too close because there may be wolves and you'll aggro them. Once you've checked and everything is clear, you want to continue, but as soon as you enter the opening, look to your left and shoot at the ceiling of the cave with your grappling hook. Now you want to grapple forward, keeping to the left hand side. Some of these areas have platforms that you can land on, so grapple towards these. Continue down this tunnel until you get to the ledge. Here you want to look down and see what mobs are down there waiting for you. Once you've checked and made sure that there's no Purlovias buried, you can grapple onto the ceiling directly in front of you, then lower yourself down to a safe height. Using your shotgun, you can start taking out the mobs down here, but be advised AI tracking will make them try to go all the way around to get to you from the other side, so be careful not to waste any bullets here. Once safe, you can lower yourself onto the ledge below you. Now you want to turn to your left at these crystals and shoot above them down the tunnel. You can now Spider-Man your way towards the right hand side of this tunnel as there is a ledge you can land on, to then use your photo mode tool to check how many dinos are below you. Always make sure to check for buried Purlovias before you move forward at all times. This is one of the only things that can go wrong. Once checked, you want to go somewhere where you can get a good vantage point in this tunnel to then get rid of these mobs. Once the mobs are defeated, you can now lower yourself down and continue the path, going around the curve. Once you get to the bottom of the path, you will notice a drop to your right. You can pick this up if you want to, but here we want to turn towards the left hand side. And now you want to shoot high towards this area and reel yourself in. There may be mobs on this path, so make sure to check before you pull yourself in. On your left hand side, you will notice a wall of crystals. Here you want to grapple yourself over this. Do not break these crystals as they serve as a wall between you and the mobs. Once grappled and over, you can keep your grapple attached to the ceiling so you can use it to pull yourself back in once you aggro the mobs. But just be careful because you can get stuck if you reel in too fast. A good portion of this tunnel is empty and there are no mobs. Here you want to slow down and use the photo mode tool. If you are on an online server, you want to slow down way before this because you may aggro the dire wolves. Once you aggro some of the mobs, you now want to run back to that wall of crystals and grapple yourself over it. You can use it as a vantage point to then take out these mobs in a safe place. Continue this and use the same technique to aggro the bears and the yetis. Once you've taken out most of the mobs, you can now focus on the Purlovias that are buried. Here you want to go to the bottom of the path, and before you turn right to then go down the next tunnel, you want to grapple to the ceiling above. Here you want to pull out your grenades and throw them towards the Purlovias that are buried, as this will make them come out of the ground. Once you have forced all the Purlovias to surface, take them out in the same manner that you took out the wolves, dire bears, and yetis. You don't have to go back to the crystal wall, but if you do feel safer that way, please do that. Once you've cleared all the mobs, continue down the path and you will notice the room now opens up. On your left hand side, you will notice an arc biopillar and a little body of water. Here you want to go towards the right hand side and up the path. Once you notice this small cluster of crystals, you want to stop and use the photo mode tool. Check for Purlovias and wolves. If the area is clear, you want to continue, and now you want to grapple to the ceiling towards the right hand side of this new chamber. Continue grappling towards the right hand side. If you do notice a cluster of Purlovia buried underneath you, be careful, as when you're trying to release your grapple and reattach, you may go low enough for them to be aggroed and jump and concuss you. So here you want to take out a grenade and use it to get them out of the ground. Once you're done, you want to continue forward towards these crystals. At this point, you want to turn to your right hand side and you will see where the path continues. Continue grappling forward, following the crystal trail. Make sure to keep an eye out for buried Purlovias. You don't want to get hit by one of these. You should notice on your right hand side an arc biopillar. You now want to continue forward, left of that biopillar, and continue on. When you get to the end of the path, you should see an area with a lot of small crystals. You want to stop here and clear any buried Purlovias. Once safe, find yourself a ledge to stand on so you can now look towards the left hand side past this line of crystals, as this is where the path continues. Use your photo mode tool to check out what you're up against. In this little tunnel, I like to go towards the right hand side of it, as there is a ledge you can stand on that gives you a very good view and lets you defeat the mobs. The mobs will now bunch up underneath you. Here you can shoot at them, and you can even throw some grenades down here to do some spread damage. Once you've dealt with the first wave, you now want to grapple towards the back of this tunnel, not where the mobs are, because now you can throw your grenades to get the Purlovias out of the ground. As you defeat more of the mobs, you can inch your way down towards the left hand side. You should notice two arc biopillars. One's going to be to your far right and the other is going to be slightly to your right in front of you. Take care of the rest of the mobs, and to your left you should notice the tunnel continues here. Once safe, continue down this path. You should notice a stream on the left hand side where the tunnel continues, and on the right hand side you should notice a drop. There will be mobs to the left hand side, so be careful. Grapple up above you, and now you want to use grenades to get the Purlovia out of the ground. Defeat the first set of mobs, then you want to cross the stream. Be careful as more mobs spawn down this path. For the mobs that spawn further down this path, I like to grapple to the far right of the path, where I will be above water, as this is the highest point on this path, and the mobs will also fall into the water, giving you a better shot to kill them. Take out the mobs wave by wave. If you see any buried Purlovia, just throw some grenades to get them out of the ground. Once the first part of the tunnel has been cleared, you now want to grapple your way back onto the path and go into the tunnel to check for more mobs. If you see some more buried Purlovias, chuck a grenade in there and run back and grapple yourself back up this wall. Once the main lot of mobs in the tunnel have been cleared, you can now go in and grapple towards the left hand side. You should notice a temple pillar. Here you can grapple up on the ceiling, as it gives you a high point where you'll be able to dangle above the mobs. Once the mobs are clear, you can now lower yourself back onto the path. Follow the path on the right hand side, and now you should be able to retrieve the artifact. Once you've done this, it's time to go back down the path. Go back down the path until you get to the stream. Here you want to grapple over it and continue on the right hand side. Continue down the path and you should notice the two biopillars on your left hand side. Continue up and towards the right hand side. Once you make it back to the line of crystals, here you want to grapple up because there's still mobs that are alive back here. And now you want to continue through all these separated platforms and up the path. Near the end of this section, you should notice an arc biopillar to your left hand side. Here you want to turn to the right hand side and continue up. Continue to the spot where we threw some grenades to get those 3 Purlovias out of the ground, and here you want to turn to the left and continue down this arch. You should now see the path. Here you want to grapple up and be careful if there's still a Purlovia buried here. To the left of you, you should notice an entrance where the path continues. Take this path and continue down it. The path will open up into a little chamber. Here on your right hand side you will notice the arc biopillar and that small body of water from earlier. Continue straight ahead down the path through the next entrance. As you can see, a drop has spawned in this area, and grapple your way over this wall of crystals. At the edge of the path you want to turn to your right and grapple your way towards this tunnel here. Don't forget, when you're going through tunnels, always try to grapple high in case there are some mobs here. Continue up this tunnel, grappling towards the right hand side as you progress. When you get to this point, you want to now grapple towards the waterfall and up this side. Now Spider-Man your way across, continuing on the right hand side. Any mobs that have respawned or are still here that are going to stop you from going up the paths to the entrance of the cave, make sure to take them out before you lower yourself back to the path. From here, you want to go into the entrance and continue on the right hand side. It is a straight road from here, and you should see the exit of the cave. So that's my guide on how to get the Artifact of the Strong in Ark Survival Ascended on foot. This method only requires some high durability gear, some high damage weapons. There's only 3 things that can go wrong. 1, you miss a Purlovia and it gets you. This could be devastating as you will probably die. 2, there's going to be lag. Lag can be a real problem, especially when you're playing on online servers. And 3, you misjudge how low you drop yourself. When you're dangling with a grappling hook, you always want to get yourself as high as you can first before you even try to lower yourself. Apart from that, this is a pretty solid method. I did it like 5 times and each time went through the cave without dying at all, so I can actually verify that it worked. Make sure to try it out. If it does work for you, please come back to the comment section and let everyone else know, because they don't believe me. Like when I tell them like, hey, look, it worked, they don't believe it works. So come tell them it works. Don't forget, if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.